Hi, this is On Imagination. Welcome to The Ethical Asshole. I am your host, the Salty Bitch. I am this deep into investing right now, and I've been reverse engineering this thing, and I've just been going through it like, fuck. It's been a very long time since I've been an apprentice. Well, I need to rephrase that. It's been a long time since I've decided to step into apprentice and go through the process. Usually apprentice is over there and I avoid it because it doesn't make me feel good. And this time I'm actually reverse engineering apprenticeship. And I realized that a big part of the frustration with apprenticeship is not so much the apprentice problem. It's the why is the beginning of this whole beginning so complicated? And the apprentice has different needs than all the other levels of skill. The apprentice needs orientation. I'm going to write this down because this is really important. The apprentice requires orientation. They require direction and a map. They require an entire step-by-step. This is what you're doing, and this is the process. And no one does this. It's literally the map of the sequence map. Now, I know that I need a sequence map. I know I need Plato's point. I know this. So I get in there and I'm like, and it's hilarious because the trading is the easy part. That's math. That's easy. And what's hard is the tools, the organization of the tools. And investors are not teachers. So they don't have any teaching skills. If they even stop for 5 minutes to teach you or instruct you, consider yourself lucky. And finding a teacher has been really, really challenging. I found a teacher. I found like the teacher of the business. I'm going through Monarch Capital right now. Beautiful program. And I'm like, oh, finally. However, and this is not a complaint on them. This is a complaint in general of this is what I've noticed right here is you walk in and they assume you've got the knowledge that they take for granted. And this is easily the hardest part of an apprentice is they assume you've got their knowledge. So they assume you know things like, there's a difference between a trading platform and a wallet, right? And I'm sitting here going, what? What? And I know Coinbase, and I know that Coinbase is a wallet, but now they're talking and they're telling me that it's an exchange. They also have 5 words for everything. So I'm going, okay. And they're so used to using the language that they are completely unaware that newcomers, apprentices, have no idea what the language is. So the first thing you end up with when you're an apprentice right away is a language barrier. The next thing is you don't have Plato's point, which is literally that gorgeous spot on the map that says you are here, you need to be here. This is where you're going. Like none of that is in existence yet. And I know what I need. So I was able to communicate them. I require the order of operations, please. But they don't know what the order of operations is because they don't know the phrase order of operations. So I'm sitting here as a physicist and a mathematician talking to them in math terms. And I understand teaching, so I'm speaking to them in logic terms. But they're on their side of it, speaking to me in investment terms. And I'm like, it's not that investing is hard. It's that the transferring someone into onboarding. That's what this is. This is apprenticeship onboarding. And every teacher needs to learn this. If you want to be a teacher, if you ever decide to open your mouth and say, I'm going to show you how to do it, you need to onboard the apprentice. Now, this is something that is not required for the tradesman, the master, anybody else, just the apprentice. And no one ever onboards the apprentice. I remember this with kindergarten, where the child gets there and there's no onboarding. Welcome to kindergarten. Here's your alphabet. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where are you taking me on this journey? This is a 13-year relationship. What are you doing here? And there's no onboarding process for apprentices. So as a result, you end up as an apprentice having to sort out and figure out your own onboarding. And what most apprentices do, I remember this in 6th grade. I remember when you get to 9th grade in high school and you've got to figure this out. Like, okay, you do this again and they call this orientation. Did you just have an epiphany, Liz? Yeah, but they don't do a good enough job because they have no idea what the apprentice mind is. They've been so far away from apprentice that they have no idea what the apprentice needs. So you're just thrown in there. And they're like, here's orientation. No, 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 no. That's not going to cut it. I need a vocabulary. I need a dictionary. I need the glossary. I need the summation of what it is we're doing here. Why am I following you? What are we doing? Where are we going? What precisely is this and how is it relative to me? And none of this ever takes place, which makes the apprenticeship stage so much harder. And what ends up happening is because apprentices do not have apprenticeship onboarding, they quit because it is so hard. And in the meantime, I'm sitting here doing investing. I'm learning this stuff. And I have been through so much like scammer trauma with investments, the fuzzy pushy carriers, that I'm at a point where I can't, I just, like just looking at Coinbase and I'm twitching. So, and I'm telling myself, it's okay. You're in good hands now. You're with professionals. You just got to work out the apprentice aches and pains. And it's a really wonderful reminder of what apprentices have to go through. And I'm like, oh yeah, right, this. And it's this, oh, it's so painful. And I'm like, all right, it's time to reverse engineer apprenticeships. And I'm watching my daughter with her art skills, and she's well past apprenticeship. She's figured out the sequence. And that's it, is as soon as you get the rhythm of the sequence, and that's what you're looking for. You are looking for your rhythm of the sequence. You are looking for the dance, basically. You're dancing with the sequence. And then you're learning how to dissect it. But before you can do any of this, you've got to know the rhythm of the sequence, and you've got to know the story of the sequence. That's what you're doing. Every time you pick up an academic discipline, you are picking up the story, the rhythm, and the dissection of this discipline. And if you walk into it not knowing, there's a rhythm here, guys. There's a rhythm to this. You're not going to know it. You're going to have no idea that you are looking for a story and a rhythm, let alone dissecting it. That's done only by the ones who are really serious about a discipline. And with our school system, it's completely reversed, where you're going to dissect it even though you're not interested in it, even though it has nothing to do with you, even though it's out of order. And you're not going to have the story to that entire discipline. And you also are not going to be told about the rhythm. The teachers don't know about the rhythm. Every academic discipline has its own dance. It has its own rhythm. And you have to understand what the dance is. So now I know these things. So I walk into investing, and literally within about 20 minutes, I got it figured out. Like, okay, so I'm dancing. It's literally you're running and you're chasing. That's what you're doing with stocks. You're running and you're chasing. You're literally ebb and flow. So when the wave recedes, you want to chase it. That is literally called a putt. It's something else. I can't remember the name right now. Trading putt. And when the water comes in, then you want to pull back. That's when the market's bear. Well, that's when you want to do a putt. But basically, when the market is climbing, you don't want to buy. When the market is down to your buying point, that's when you want to buy. And that's when the market doesn't crash, but it recedes. So I'm like, oh, it's a dance. You just got to learn how to dance with the market. That's exactly what it is. You're just learning how to dance. But it's all of us dancing at the same time. So I'm like, okay, so it's a massive group dance that spans literally the entire world. We're all dancing. And it's knowing the precise timing. And that's what dance is. It's the timing. It's the when are you going to move. It's the movement. And that's what it is. That's what dancing is. It's movement. And it's knowing when you're going to make the move that you're going to make. So it's absolutely about movement. And it's about knowing when you're going to make the move that you are. So as soon as I figured that out, it was like, all right, well, not a problem. The story made a lot of sense to me. That's just logical sequence. So I was able to get the story right in place. And I'm like, all right, I understand how this thing moves. It came to the tools, though. And I'm like, what a fucking pain in the ass. What a pain in the ass. So we got a crash course today on this morning on these are the tools you're going to need. Okay. And I still have not figured out how to connect my exchange trading platform with my wallet. I don't even know if that's possible. I have no idea. I have no idea. That's where I'm stuck. I uploaded $20. Thank God it was only 20. I'm like, let me just try this. Let me just see how it feels. So I took my bank account and I uploaded 20 over to Coinbase. And then the whole thing shut down and it's like disabled. And I'm like, disabled. It said instantaneous. It is not instantaneous. The funds won't be available until the 23rd. But it says the funds are there now. So it shows the funds. But it didn't even do that. So there's a lot of inconsistency. And this is buggy programming. This is shit programming. So right now I'm going, well, I don't know if this is Coinbase or if this is normal. But so far, Coinbase is shit. And this is supposed to be one of the best ones. It's not the best one. Like there's a couple other, but I'm looking at it going, yeah, I'm already not impressed. Now I had one scammer who told me to go through this one thing, this one app. And I had never heard of the app before. Turns out this app was their app that their home built so that anytime you put money into your wallet, they go in and they take it. So I learned the hard way that, and again, fortunately, and I love this about me, get this about yourself. You want to play risk, but you also want to be cautious. So I never invested high when it came to any of this stuff. Whenever I did invest, I made sure I did not exceed a lot. It was like, let's just do a few dollars here or a few dollars there, which is why I only did 20. I'm like, let's just do 20. Let's see how it goes. Now it said you'll have the money instantly. No, you don't. You don't have it instantly. It's not going to be here for 20 until the 23rd. So I've got a week before I get it. So that's their first like red flag. I'm like, all right, now already I'm not impressed. Then it showed in limbo where I got the email. Oh, your money's been complete. So I got email notification. I go in there. No, the money was not there. The notification said it was there, but it's not. Now, when I open my bank account, it's still showing that I have my full balance there. So they have not withdrawn it from my bank. And I'm going, okay, you haven't withdrawn it from my bank. I'm showing a $20 deposit on my Coinbase account. And I got the email confirming that it's already been received and that it's completed, even though it's not been completed, even though it's showing. And that email arrived before the $20 even showed up. So all of this is already really dirty to me. So I really don't like Coinbase already. I'm going, this is just shit. I still don't know, and I'm using Neptune Trade X. I still have no idea how to connect Neptune Trade X to Coinbase. And I'm like, okay, no idea how this happens. No idea. In addition to that, when I had the Coinbase app, I went through the whole verification process. But then when I uploaded it onto the desktop, they didn't sync up. They signed in. I don't know if I did that or if they did that. Probably I did that. And now I have two Coinbase accounts, one with an email verification only on the phone app that's not synchronized to the desktop. And I had to submit my actual email address for the one on my desktop. So that's where the $20 is, which isn't showing up on the app. So now I'm going, Coinbase is fucking garbage. That's bottom line. What I'm learning from this is, okay, Coinbase is garbage. So this is my official review. Coinbase is garbage. I don't recommend it. That's my official review. I think that's where I'm at with this because so far I'm not impressed. Now, there's a couple others. Now I'm really wanting to look at these other ones like Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet was one that I got that I heard about. So there's a few of them. I almost want to go through and try a few of these out. And I am obsessed with this. Like I go through, like I get it. I play with the app and I trial it out like I'm doing now. And I let you know, okay, guys, this is fishy. This is garbage. I don't like it. So, and I don't like using something that doesn't have, like I like to use things that are solid, that are reliable. If I can't find it online, then I don't trust it. So this one, the Neptune Trader X, I went ahead and pulled that up online, and you do not have to look hard to find like government issued, it's verified. And I'm like, all right. So I still have not had any experience with an actual broker. Now, the only brokers I've had experience with are scammers, where they're not brokers at all. They're pretending to be, and they spend more time reaching out to me and trying to convince me to trade. Traders do not do that. Traders do not have time to waste fishing for clients. They have so many clients that the clients fall into their lap. They're not going to cherry pick you and find you. So that took me some time to learn. And that was the same person who, here, use this app. And that was literally my first scammer. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then this is the other thing is this has really got interesting. So as I'm doing this, the excitement in the room, like we have a class and the class is beautiful. They give you funds to start, like here's some funds, go trade. So I got funds from them and I already traded. And they walk you through the process of how to trade. And I'm like, okay, so this is beautiful. It's literally hands-on learning, which is exactly what we need. So I'm going through this process, beautiful program, and the energy is really intense. There's a lot of investors and they're all like hyping up and, oh my God, I just did this. And I'm going to say this. This is where the philosophical sage in me is coming out. Can we not act like a bunch of kindergartners getting a bunch of lollipops for lunch, please? And the reason why is because, first of all, mimic, mirror, repetition, response, which leads to mass hysteria. But this is the opposite of mass hysteria. Mass hysteria is panic. Did you know that there's also a euphoric kind of mass hysteria? The euphoric mass hysteria is what we see in the trading room with a bunch of investors when they are so hyped up over a stock doing well that they all follow the herd and they run themselves off the cliff like a bunch of lemmings. So it's so common now that it's actually part of the training. Is they'll say you need to keep a level head. And it's funny, not funny, haha, but funny as in ironic, amazing, interesting, scientifically fascinating to watch this, where you'll have these investors, and Warren Buffett has said to them, you've got to keep a level head. And they don't know what they're dealing with. They're not psychologists. They have no idea what they're dealing with. And I'm sitting here like analyzing, and I could feel it in me, but I know what it is. So I'm sitting here going, ooh, that's euphoria. Ooh, that's dangerous. That's the exact same kind of euphoric rush you would get from adrenaline. That's got addictive properties to it. Oh, I know what that is. That's chasing the growth that we're all addicted to because we all are in the pursuit of growth. And then you have people who are coming in who probably haven't experienced growth in a while. So they're getting this massive addiction to euphoria. Combine that with mass hysteria and mimic repetition response. Oh, this is like gambling. Oh, this is like really investment addiction. Holy fucking shit. This is really toxic. So now I know all this. So I can apply it easily, put up my shields. And okay, when you feel that euphoric rush, you need to call. That's when you really need to step back, apply the logic. And this is the difference between a professional trader and all the amateurs. Is the amateurs are getting absolutely carried away with that euphoric, addictive rush of, oh my God, instant gratification. My reward centers are going off. And look, it's the feeling and the delusion of progression. And I'm also making money at the same time on paper. So as a result, it looks like I'm getting the reward of this. Oh, this is so wonderful and addictive. I'm so happy. And then you've got a mass of people all doing this. So now you've got mimic, mirror, repetition, response with mass hysteria, setting off euphoria while they're all sitting there delightfully trading. And I'm going, oh, this is the recipe for bad. This is the bad combination. And I'm sitting here going, wow, do they know what's going on with their neurons firing right now and which hormones are being released in their brain? Because I do. Holy shit, this is like addiction syndrome. Oh, I need to be careful. So this is really interesting. So now I like pulled up in my research and I started to document all this out, which is the whole purpose of this YouTube video. Is I'm going, okay, so we're looking at mimic, mirror, repetition, response with mass hysteria and emotional disciplines where the excitement and the euphoria of selling overrides the logic. People become emotional traders instead of logical traders. And what I'm seeing is the reward and the instant gratification of the reward as their investment rises transfers over into growth simulation that feels a lot like addiction. And now you've got scammers who step in and who fuel that. Now, if you're an amateur to investment, you're not going to know about any of this. And if you have addictive tendencies, then you're really going to get carried away with it. So it's really, and it's extraordinary. And this is very, very common in the average. It's literally scarcity. So imagine this. Imagine you have emotional diabetes your whole life. You do. You have emotional diabetes. You are experiencing constant scarcity mindset, constant depletion of resources. You are starved for resources and nourishment. And as a result, you're not growing because you have emotional diabetes. Someone comes along and dangles food for you in front of you, and it's the first food you have seen since you entered the Death Valley. And you go nuts, like, oh my God, food. And that's exactly what's taking place here. Except you're all in a room, you've all been starved, and you're seeing your first dangling carrot. You're now looking at your first food that you haven't seen due to the mirage you've been living in all your life. Now you get people who are turning the investment stocks into an addiction center. And I did a lot of psychological evaluation on investors about 2-3 years ago, where I was evaluating the kind of people who are going into investing. And these are people who are starved, like they were so poor that they are like, okay, what's the best way to get rich? Now, investing is the best way to get rich, but it attracts a lot of people who have been starved for resources their whole lives. So there's two kinds of people. There is literally the cool-headed, logical, all right, I'm going to go into this and actually make my wealth and just do what I do. But you're also going to have the flip side of that. You're going to have all the people who are traumatized from scarcity, and they are going to be looking at that as a means to cope with their mental illness instead of dealing with their mental illness. And as a result, they're going to be the ones who set up that euphoric mass hysteria of gorging on all of that profit, getting emotionally carried away, and then following the herd off the cliff like a bunch of lemmings. So it was really fascinating to see all this played out. And I don't like being in the room. Like it's a chat on WhatsApp where we go through the classes, and the instructor will go through, he'll deliver it, and he's not getting involved at all. He's just delivering it. But the comments that are going on during the class is people are becoming passionate. People are like really, they're riving it up. They're just no emotional discipline at all. And that's fueling that energy. And there's a lot of people who are like, oh, this is great positive energy. I wouldn't call that positive energy. You got a beautiful cocktail now for mass hysteria. And this is the stage. We see this at rallies. This is a very common psychological tactic, actually, where if you want someone to buy, this is how it's done. Now, I've already checked out the credentials of these people, and it was hilarious because they are so like they are solid. And when I was sitting there like looking them up to see if there was anything on scamming, what I found was a how to avoid scammers in the investment field. And they were the ones who recorded this massive video. So I'm like, well, I found them, but they're the ones actually teaching you how to avoid scammers. So that was hilarious to me. I'm like, these guys. I also found an article featuring them on Medium and a couple other places. Like these guys are the real deal. But that being said, there's a lot of psychology taking place in an investor room that all of them are oblivious to. And I'm just sitting here like in the room with them, taking notes like, yeah, cool head. You've got to be logical when you're doing this. Emotions have no place whatsoever. It's got to be about the science because the emotions can easily take the entire environment over. And so that's really fascinating to me. It's absolutely fascinating. So I'm going to be reporting a lot more on this. I have my political and investment section where I break down the logic of politics. So if you are wanting to understand investment, if you're wanting to understand money, if you're wanting to understand politics, I break down the psychology, the philosophy, the physics of it as I go through it. So I'm reverse engineering it as I do it. Like, okay, I might be new here, but I'm not new to the psychology. I might be new to investment, but I am not new to the philosophy. So I sit down and I take what I know and I break it down with what I'm seeing and I analyze it. One of the things that I love about my political course is, now this is something I'm not new to. This is something I have a long history with. And it's literally breaking down the logic. It's pure logic. There's absolutely no bias. There is absolutely no anger. This is formal argument and debate. This is everything you need to know. This is where you can get the answers for these particular political discussions calmly without any anger or bias. I've already cleaned them out for that. You can go ahead and take a look so you can understand what's going on without anyone screaming at you. And that is all available on my website under Try to Killing Part 3. That is politics, social change, and also investment, finance, economics. That's where we cover everything. So thank you so much. And may the kindest of words always find you.